Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, hanging out with my colleagues here.
I'm Dave. I'm Ryan.
That's Dave. That's
That's
Ryan.
a switch around.
And it's not even April Fool's.
Nope.
So we had a handful of people request that we do a 2-weapon fighting build, character build. So we're gonna talk about that and see what we got going on. So ultimately, if you're gonna do fighting with 2 weapons, you're gonna want to take the dual wielder feat.
Yes and no, maybe.
I think you want to take it.
You're gonna get a +1 to AC while you're wielding a separate melee weapon in each hand. You can use 2 weapons that aren't light, and you can interact with 2 weapons when
Two objects
when you normally can only interact with 1. So it's like,
draw
all right,
on both your blades.
I can draw both, or I can stow both, as part of my interaction for the round. So that's really cool,
Yeah.
So,
Otherwise, the other fighters were like, "Ha ha!" and then, "Ha ha!"
Well, I mean, basically, you're probably going to either have both of your weapons drawn, like when you're going. If you're expecting a combat situation, that's part of it.
but if you're not, you got to use an action or a bonus action to try and draw it. So.
Well, I mean, the thing that brings a suck about that is it has very much less benefit if I'm a character that almost consistently is going to fight with light weapons for the most part anyway. Like, you lose a third of the effectiveness of that feat, and it's not... So, like, yeah, if you're a certain drow with 2 scimitars, that's a great feat. But if you're like, well, no, I'm going to fight whip and saber, or, whip and rapier... Like, well, that's totally legal for you to do. Like,
in my rich gaming history, I mean, you guys have known that the amount of characters that I've done that have fought with 2 long swords. I mean, it's pretty high. So I mean, this would be required for that to actually happen.
Yeah. Well, I've always in 3rd edition wanted to build like the whip and rapier fighter, rogue fighter hybrid. It was feat wise inconceivable to make it work. Like, you had to, for him to be effective, minimally he had to be like 7th level, and he's taking such penalties.
Yeah, I think you can just do it, right?
Yeah,
I can just do it. I can make an effective character.
Well, to fight with 2 weapons, they both have to be light, right?
Yeah, they both have to have the finesse quality. Well, no, not finesse.
Light.
They both have to be light. Although then,
but then again,
you want to be dexy.
Is the whip a light weapon?
I know
it's I think it's a finesse. I think it's reach, but
whip is finesse and reach.
Okay, it's not light, so I guess I do want that feat.
You would absolutely, but let's face it. Though you're like, well, do I want to give up a part of the
rapier's
benefits?
Not light either.
See, but like, here's the thing. Like, a bonus to armor class in this edition is huge.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So generally, fighting with 2 weapons, do both weapons have to be light?
Yes, the standard baseline, everybody can do it. Both weapons have to be light.
Yeah, that's kind of lame.
Yeah,
I don't like that so much. I mean, I could see
it's usually like the offhand.
No, I think they've made it.
Yeah, I think it really is like.
Yeah, I mean, but it'd be nice if only one of them had to be light. But I think what they did is like, well, we're not penalizing anybody, so
right. But so then again, all right.
So you can fight up to 2. Like, the biggest weapons you can wield effectively are like 2 short swords.
Yeah, 2 short swords, 2 hand axes.
Right.
2 daggers. So essentially, like, if you're going to look at this, so if you look at races, I kind of feel like half-orc and human are the best 2 weapon fighting races.
Yeah.
One, because the more dice you roll with a half-orc,
the better it is.
The better chance you get to invoke their is it called savage attack or
savage attacker?
Or savage, or is that? But anyway, the half-orc ability to basically do extra dive damage.
Right.
More dice you roll, the better.
Yeah, your odds go up. So
with human,
yeah.
With human, you get to take a feat at first level.
Right. So you're going to take dual wielder.
You're going to take dual wielder right from the gate.
Right, so 2-weapon fighting says when you take the attack action and attack with a light melee weapon that you're holding in one hand, you can use a bonus action to attack with a different light melee weapon that you're holding in the other hand. You don't add your ability modifier to the damage of the bonus attack unless that modifier is negative. If either weapon has the thrown property, you can throw the weapon instead of making the melee attack with it.
But light and light. It's
light and light.
Yeah.
Super light.
It was very light.
So, okay, that being said, right, there's only 2 real classes to do this with. If your goal is to be the very best 2-weapon fighter you can be.
Paladin and Bard, right?
No, you can play around. You can play around with the races a little bit. There, you got a little bit. Yeah, maybe you got.
You have to wait for some stuff, but
you might have to wait for some stuff. But you're either going fighter or you're going ranger because you want that 2-weapon fighting style.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you can rogue can do it, just not as well. Like,
none of them do as well. Ted, tell us why we want that 2-weapon fighting style.
Well, because without that 2-weapon fighting style, you lose the modifier to damage on your offhand. And that's going to seriously impact, its advantage because, in this edition, all of those numbers become crucial. And if you're talking about a D6 weapon, and if your prime stat, say Dex or Strength, is going to be a 15-16, that's 2 or 3 damage. That's a third to half of what the die can possibly do as your addition.
Now, okay.
Even with my character that frequently dual wields in Ted's game, I am very tempted to dip in the fighter to just get the 2-weapon fighting thing because like the 2-weapon fighting thing and the you have to be bonus attack, right?
Yeah, that's
when do you get action surge?
Second level.
So 2 levels of fighter maybe, or maybe just take it out to 4 to get the feat, but. Yeah, like it's so like, oh man, like I'm usually doing this thing. I would be so much better at it if I just.
And even if you just took the 1 level for the style,
it would still be super.
It would definitely be helpful for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already like choosing on the regular to use a D4 weapon, so I'm like, all right, let me maybe make this a little more effective.
A little better.
Yeah, so yeah, that would be a huge damage ramp.
So when you look at fighter gets the fighting style at first level. They're the only warrior class that does it.
Right.
They get the most attacks in the game. We already mentioned action surge.
Right.
There's 3 archetypes, and all 3 of them work for this build.
Right, in different ways, absolutely.
I mean, now granted, like I say, Eldritch Knight works the least because
so much is focused on spells.
Yeah, because of the spells. I mean, it's cool that you can bond 2 weapons, and I would definitely, if they had the fighting feat and 2 bonded weapons, I would definitely let them summon them both at the same time.
Right.
But at the same token, a lot of their stuff involves, do a cantrip, take an attack. Cast a spell, take an attack. That doesn't allow you to get a second attack in with that bonus.
When you're a dual wielder, not really dual wielding at all. It's just like I'm just holding this weapon in my offhand.
There's 2 prime choices on their fighter. If you look at champion, having more attacks is going to give you more chance to crit, or you can go with the battle master to be able to use all of their
bonus damage dice and cool stuff.
They've got so many maneuvers that you can use those dice for.
Yeah, there's a couple classes and archetypes in here that people overlook because they seem simplistic, but mechanically and mathematically, they are actually superior. The bard suffers as well in the sense that the abilities they get for being the College of Valor aren't as flashy as the College of Lore, but they come into play every single combat, every single round. Higher armor class, extra attack will always come into play.
Yes.
And again, the champion is the same thing. Every time you swing a weapon and roll a die, that ability can come into play.
No, it's the difference between a 5 and a 10% difference. That's huge.
Significant, yeah.
And when you add action surge and you can take 9 attacks in a round, at the upper levels of a fighter, of those, how many of them are going to be a crit? At 18 to 20,
right?
Probably, you're probably going to get at least a couple,
right? Yeah,
which is going to really stack on some damage.
Right. Absolutely.
And when you're a half orc.
Oh, and here's the other thing: champion gets a second fighting style. So what do you take? You take protection. Or is it protection or is it
the one that gives
defensive?
You +1 AC?
Yeah, defensive. Yeah.
So now fighting with 2 weapons and wearing equivalent to the guy with the shield.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And you're just getting all those attacks.
Right. You're putting as much damage down as possible.
No, you're not getting a magic shield, but it's still pretty badass.
Yeah. Now, another thing, because it's a build that I've been kind of tinkering with just in the back of my mind here. I haven't put pencil to paper yet, but the Battle Master. A Battle Master halfling, like fighter rogue is kind of what I'm messing around with the idea.
Swashbuckler?
Yes, very swashbuckly, very like Errol Flynn. But the fact is,
dude, Oliver de Burrows.
Yeah, you do whip in one hand, so you have reach, and you can hide behind your party members and still use that shit.
Yeah.
And then the other hand, either throw in a short sword or a rapier. The rapier would be a little comically too large, so probably go with the short sword. But you could do whip dagger, so you can hit
You can
people at range.
reflavor that short sword as a rapier, though, if you want to.
Yeah, it's
thematically.
Yeah, but so yeah, you got that option to fight for somebody, so you can disarm somebody at range, and you can fight somebody with your blade. You could throw chuck a dagger at somebody, and so you're doing both things at range and like redraw whatever. So you're still hitting people out far away from you, and then as the battle master, you can still do all that same stuff with archery, and you're gonna want to go with dex weapons. So you have that thing at range of a short bow or a long. Well, yeah, short bow because your size.
Yeah.
But like you can do all these maneuvers
With a longbow, the only thing you'd really do is shoot yourself, I think.
Right? Yeah, you're put your eye out, kid. But yeah, with the short bow, like you can still disarm people at range too. On top of that, so you have this like all these different options. You are a halfling, but other than that restriction.
Yeah, but I feel like you have to bum rush 4 levels of something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In order to get the dual wielding to make it work.
Well, I would probably bum rush the fighter first,
And then start
for the hit
stacking
points.
on rogue.
and then go rogue, almost all the way. Well, at least 6 level fighter, rogue. Rest of it probably is what I'd be saying. But
6 for the 2 ability modifiers, right?
right, absolutely, or feet. Depending
Well,
on
yeah.
Although, I mean, you're trading some of those superiority dice and the increased die. You're giving some, it's not a freebie.
It really isn't, yeah. Huh, yeah, so I would have to figure out how that's going to work exactly. Maybe it's 4 rogue and the rest for the superiority dice of the battle master.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. I mean, you really are basically controlling the battlefield with that. There's a lot of cool stuff.
So if you went to 7, you'd get your 5th. But then you'd have to go all the way to 15th to get a 6th. So if you're really looking at it, you could cap out at 7 on Battle Master.
So are you limited to how many dice you can spend around?
I don't think so.
So so that like that would be one of the factors as well. But so Battle Master Champion, very cool ways to go for a 2-weapon fighter.
Yeah.
But we also have the Ranger.
Yeah, Ranger.
Now, the Ranger is at a disadvantage in the sense that, he doesn't get his fighting style until 2nd level. Again, if you wanted to offset things by being human, you can grab that dual wielding right from the beginning.
Absolutely.
It's so very tempting if that's the kind of character you want to play. And then you can wield both of those scimitars at the same time. You just can't be a dark elf if you're human.
Wait. You mean I can't be a dark elf and a human?
No, I don't think so. It doesn't work that way. But what the Ranger brings to it. Obviously, you're going to go hunter. The Beastmaster offers nothing to the 2-weapon fighting build.
Correct.
But you can add extra damage. You can get extra attacks. There's a lot of cool things.
Yeah, you want to go Colossus Slayer as your prey.
Well, maybe. I mean, giant, not so much.
You could do Horde Breaker to get extra attacks, but I think
Horde Breaker's a good one.
I think the Colossus Slayer allows you to just really stack on the damage.
And then at 7th level, you're going to get a defensive ability.
Oh, I wonder, could you stack Colossus Slayer and friggin' Sneak Attack?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude, that... Damn.
And Hunter's Mark.
Because you can only, with Colossus Slayer and Sneak Attack, you can do both of those only once around, but if you're doing both of them, holy hell. Oh, and just a quick little aside on the Battle Master, it specifically calls out spending 1 superiority die, so I'm pretty sure you can only spend those one at a time.
You can. It says you can spend 1 superiority die to have this effect.
It calls out 1 superiority die, at the end of most of the abilities.
Yeah, you can't say, well, I'm going to spend 2 superiority die
and do 2d8 damage plus the effect.
But if you can finagle, well, I want to spend 1 superiority die on this effect for this attack, and then I want to spend 1 superiority die on this effect for this attack. I don't see a problem with that if you're getting multiple attacks around.
But I'm saying you can't add a 2nd or 3rd to, I really want this one thing to succeed.
No, okay. Yeah. I completely agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, so getting back to actually being...
So Ranger.
Yeah.
Ranger, whirlwind attack. So, basically, you get to attack everybody that's around you. And you would still get your bonus attack.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think you can take more. You can use your action to make a melee attack against any number of creatures. So it requires your whole action. So you won't get your extra,
Right.
but you will get your bonus attack.
Right.
So again, that's really cool. And when you combine it with things like Colossal Slayer, and I guess it would probably. The question is, does it combine with Hordebreaker? Yeah, because it says once.
Yeah.
So I would say yeah. So it would combine. It combines with some of your earlier abilities, and you can take the other thing that Rangers get are spells, and then they can basically they're going to have a lot of miscellaneous effects they can do, that are going to either do more damage, or have a miscellaneous effect like a snare or something. A lot of the ranger spells, like the paladin spells, are built to be you cast it and then you use it with a weapon action,
Right.
which is very cool.
It's a bonus action that's part of an attack. Isn't that typically how?
A lot of times, yeah.
Right. So I mean, it kind of
Gates your second
It
attack.
dicks you out of spending being able to make your second attack, which.
But that's round one.
Mhm.
And it's going to continue because it'll have durations.
Yeah, because they have durations.
Unless they break out of it, because like the ensnaring thing is like if it's a strong, kind of burly monster like your orc or whatever.
It might not work.
Yeah.
But Hunter's Mark is always good.
Yes.
You cast that, so you don't get the bonus attack the first round, but every round after that you're going to do it.
Right.
Along with the other things. Yeah, I find like the Rangers are really good at spreading damage out amongst a lot of different enemies.
Yes.
They're like the martial
skirmisher.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was gonna say like almost AOE, area of effect type of guys.
Yeah.
But they do it with weapons.
They're an area effect melee guy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, kind of. But then when you go like range with them, like archer stuff, like get things like lightning arrow, which completely changes that dynamic altogether. But now with weapons, they do it with weapons, whether it's melee or whether it's ranged. Oh, you can make a very interesting 2-weapon fighter with a ranger.
And as we said, maybe getting a rogue for the sneak attack damage on top.
Well, yeah, rogue stacks with anything. When you're building
a martial character,
and you just want an extra die of damage every round or X amount of die. But I think it's still kind of subpar to the fighter. I think it gives you more variety, more miscellaneous stuff you can do.
Right.
But I personally I would lean towards the champion.
I think the champion, in my opinion, does stand up as the best, but only marginally. I think the Battlemaster and the Ranger offer up
fun options,
fun options and alternatives. So it really comes down to like, are you looking for the damage potential? Are you looking for the option potential, or like the interesting mix? So all of them have really cool abilities. They all have useful stuff that applies to the build. So I don't, other than the champions marginally beating out them, it's just going to come down to what do you feel is going to be more enjoyable to play, and fit with the style that the DM is putting out there.
I mean, the Battlemaster though, like with the disarm, you take somebody's weapon away and you've just nerfed them so hard. Like, all right, great, their great sword that they're like their magical great sword that they were going to clobber
the one that's at their feet right now, because the way the mechanics actually work.
That sucks. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that. Like that,
I spent half my move to pick it up, or I interact with the object for free and pick it up.
Yeah, that's dumb.
So
we may have to house rule that, because it totally makes it not worthwhile to do this, to lose to do that. Yeah.
So I mean that's going to come down to to the actual game. But I mean, I think that for us, okay, well I disarm the guy. I still have movement. Can I kick it with my feet? I mean, I've done this in a LARP. I've done this. I've done this in actual sword fighting. With sparring. So I mean, it's definitely possible, and I've disarmed someone.
It didn't happen on camera. It did not happen.
I've disarmed someone and ended up with their sword in my hand. So
Colby. Yeah.
I can't compare myself in any way, shape, or form to Colby. It's just that's just not going to happen.
You heard it here on Nerdarchy. Ted will sword fight you, whoever you are, and take your sword and it will be in his hand.
Yeah, that's
No,
right.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I said I've done one really cool disarm that I ended up with both swords, but that's.
It was really weird because he was trying to sheath his sword.
Yeah.
I think we've
right.
expressed our thoughts on two weapon fighting. We've dual wielded this one out of existence
fought
To
this
death.
one.
Yeah.
to death.
Yeah.
So with that, click like, share, subscribe, even comment.
Check us out on nerdarchy.com.
Or go hang out with us on Facebook.
So-
And until next time.
Until next time,
Stay nerdy.